So why am I supporting parents who've opted for home-based education? Well, I started out my career as a teacher in the national curriculum system based in a secondary school. I used to teach secondary RE, and I'm afraid I only lasted 2 years because I very quickly burnt out with the amount of planning, paperwork, assessment, just constant administration, and my time to be with the kids and my time to make their lessons truly creative and individualised just wasn't there, and it really killed my passion for teaching. So I came out of teaching in a school. My career's been very varied, but the common thread right through my career is education. And I've taught just about every age group going. I've taught vocational education, academic education, and I've taught in the workplace, and I've taught different curriculums in school. So most recently, my experience took me to China, and I was teaching in an international baccalaureate school over in Kunshan on the outskirts of Shanghai. Had an amazing year, and that was where I was introduced to inquiry-based learning and a transdisciplinary approach. And at the end of that year, I really did see the benefits of that. I was teaching the equivalent of year 6, and my students at the end of year 6 can do things that our year 8s and 9s can't do in this country. They have truly inquiring minds. They're asking questions all the time, constantly reflecting, constantly linking ideas together. And at the end of the year, they did their own project. They stood up on stage, having written their own project, planned it, conducted it, worked with a mentor, sometimes planned their own field trips, brought in their own experts, and then they did a display, and then they got up on stage right at the end, and each group did a 10 to 15 minute presentation. And one of my colleagues said to me, they'll never do that. 10 minutes is far too long. And I said, just watch. And each group kept saying to me, Miss Zoe, we don't have enough time. Can we have half an hour? And they'd really done an amazing job. And to stand up on stage in front of a big audience, it's no mean feat for a 10 or an 11-year-old, is it? And not only that, they wrote their own song. So one class wrote the lyrics, the other class wrote the harmonies and the melodies, and then they performed it. So we had a band, we had ocarinas, violins, violas, guitars, a flute, keyboard, and then we had a choir, and the whole grade came together and performed their very own song that they'd written themselves. And I just think transdisciplinary learning is just such a bonus to teach our children to think critically and to give them skills they're actually going to use in life. That's equipping them for life, and to me that's what we should be doing for our children, and if we're not doing that, we're doing a disservice. So what I'm doing now in the UK is taking that approach to learning, and I'm teaching online. I teach Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday mornings, 9 till 12. I work with a small group of students. We follow a theme-based approach. I set them all sorts of challenges, and gradually they will be setting their own. So at the moment we're in a kind of transition where they're coming out of the state system and they're adapting to an inquiry-based thematic approach. They're very quickly adapting to it. Just in only 6 weeks, the students I'm working with have made absolutely phenomenal progress. I'm so proud of them, and I'm starting to see the creativity and the critical thinking really come out. And so yes, so that then fits around their wider home-based curriculum. So their parents, they know that by sending them to me for that time, Monday through Wednesday mornings, they're getting that kind of critical thinking, some of the more traditional stuff, but in a new way. They're getting that covered, that academic kind of learning, they're getting that covered in that time, which then frees them up to be doing other things around that in the rest of their week. So I've got one student who is learning to weld sometimes on an afternoon. Another one writes her own recipes and then bakes them or cooks them. We've got a student who's been sewing and she's sewn some outfits for herself. Gardening, walking, nature, looking after pets, you name it, the world's your oyster. And those kids at the end of the year are learning functional skills that they are interested in and enjoy, and that will be useful in life. And to me, you can't put a price on that. So I'm proud to be working with the parents who are taking their kids out of a system that just doesn't fit in today's society. It really doesn't equip our kids, in my opinion. And so I'm proud to be working with parents who are thinking the same way that I am and helping them prepare their kids for the big wide world.